For us here tonight, this week's verdict in the Derek Chauvin trial has once again pushed the topic of police reform to the forefront, really across the country, and Buffalo is no exception.
Yeah, and some reforms have already been passed in the city of Buffalo, but many advocates want more to be done, and they're trying to take the issue straight to voters this fall. This story comes from our nonprofit partners at Investigative Post.
Yeah, and joining us live right now is reporter Geoff Kelly, who's been covering this. You can read his latest article at investigativepost.org. Geoff, this is a really fascinating and eye-opening report. Thanks for coming on to talk us through it.
It's my pleasure, always. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Geoff, before we talk about the process of getting an issue on the ballot, let's just talk about the referendum itself. Who is involved in this, and what are these groups pushing for in the city?
Well, it's the drive for this referendum is organized by a coalition of not-for-profit, sort of good government groups, some of them quite well known in the city: Partnership for the Public Good, Voice Buffalo, Citizen Action, and others. So sort of seasoned organizers and advocates. And what they're asking for is a yes or no vote, a ballot referendum on whether the city should institute an independent citizen review board to oversee the police department, to examine claims of misconduct, mete out discipline when they see fit, and even to comment on and guide policing policies.
And Geoff, you were told for your report that the recommendation of this new, civilian police oversight structure was really met with resistance from City Hall. What is the hang up there?
Yeah, well, what organizers were told, in response to last summer's protests, a lot of these groups were consulted by the mayor and by the Common Council about a police reform package. What are people in the street asking for? And this item, among all the other sort of reform agenda items, met some resistance. And what organizers say they were told by elected officials was, we don't think our constituents really want that. That's not a thing, the kind of police oversight that the citizens of Buffalo want. And so these organizers said, well, maybe we're going to put that to the test. Maybe we're going to ask them directly.
This is an interesting fight because it's pretty tough to amend the city charter by referendum. It's been more than 15 years. So what can you tell us about this process to get on the ballot and where things stand with it right now?
It's hard to do it as a citizen-led group without the cooperation of the Common Council or the mayor. You have to go out and get, in this case, about 7,200 signatures. Regardless of party, they just have to be registered voters in the city of Buffalo. You need to get that many signatures, turn them into the city clerk. Then the Common Council has 60 days to either accept your petition, in which case it goes on the ballot, or they can ignore it or reject it, in which case you can preempt them again. You can go out and get another 3,500 signatures. And if you can do that, then you can submit those to the city clerk. And if that's accepted as a valid petition, then it goes on the ballot without Common Council approval. Now, obviously, the organizers hope to get the signatures. They're aiming for like 10,000 by the beginning of July. And they hope they can convince the Common Council to accept their petition and put the vote to the people in November.
I had told you, Geoff, that I didn't realize that this was even a possibility, and now I don't feel so bad since I know it's been 15 years since this happened. I haven't been in Buffalo for 15 years, but it really does speak to the difficulty of doing something like this. I wonder if, based on your conversations with the organizers who are trying to do this and your research into what the process is like, gives you a sense of whether or not you think this is something that we can expect to see on the November ballot, or maybe not so much.
I think it's too soon to say. As I pointed out, they're aiming to get their signatures turned in to the city clerk sometime the beginning of July. The weather today is not really amenable to going door to door and asking people for signatures, and COVID restrictions are a hurdle as well. But in the coming months, May or June, if we start seeing those petitions, on the shelves of stores and at the counters at coffee shops and things like that, well, maybe we'll know it's serious, that they have a shot at it.
We've been chatting with Geoff Kelly, a reporter with our nonprofit partners at Investigative Post. Geoff, thanks again for coming on tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah, a lot to that story. Investigativepost.org is the website that you're going to want to check out. Thank you, everybody, for watching our town hall on this Thursday, Earth Day. Remember to keep texting us your questions or comments. Our text number is 849-2200.